Hey guys, Rick Shaw here. We got this absolutely fantastic morning. It's a little cool today. That's why my head was a little bit plugged up. We had pretty cool evenings. Day was really hot, but the nights were cool. We had a pretty good breeze, so it was a little chilly. I'm going to go ahead and talk about some more dangers here in a minute, but I was remiss in something on my one video. And I forgot to mention about Mindanao. Now, I wasn't over the whole island of the place, although a lot of my friends have been and always send me pictures. It's a beautiful place. But I was in Davao, and I have to say something about that. That's Duterte City. I believe his daughter's running the show down there now. I was there for just short of 6 months. I did a lot of walking on my days off. I walked to a motorcycle place that on the GPS thing that I had said it was 15 miles. I converted from meters to miles. It was like 15 miles. And I took off early and would hike and just boogie. So I did a lot of walking there. The whole time I was there, I saw one dog turd. I was going to the store, and I got to the store, and by the time I turned around and came back, somebody had picked it up. I saw no garbage anywhere. Zero, nothing. The place was clean as could be. There was like a police military type presence. You could see young girls walking at 2, 3 in the morning without a care in the world. I felt safer there than anywhere. They say it's dangerous down there. I felt safer in that city. Now, of course, a good ways away from us when I was down there was some kind of bombing at a mall or something, but you know, so you got that, I guess. But you know, they had Giano malls. They had all kinds of stuff down there. I got a pair of glasses made down there for me, very inexpensive. That's something you can get done here. If you come here to the Philippines, get your dental and get your eyeglasses, any kind of that stuff you want to get it done here, because it's just so cheap. I got my glasses, I think it was only about $60, and I got no-line bifocals with some really nice frames. I didn't go over to the big Cartier fancy dancy frames. I just went over to the nice frames, and I got the lenses in there. No line bifocals, because that's what I had in the beginning. I started with those, and it was about $60, and I got them at a eye place in the mall. Lady did a real good thorough exam. They just modern, like in the U.S., they do a little pulse thing to check for different things in your eye. They look at it real good. So good deal on that. And then dental work. I had cheap. You can get a lot of dental work done for $10 to $20. My one buddy came here and got some dental work done. His wife came here and got dental work done. So do that too. That's just something else I wanted to mention. Now I want to talk about the other dangers, and that's the food. And that's just not here. This could be worldwide. But be real careful when you buy anything. The labeling laws here are a little bit different. They do put ingredients on everything, and it's the same like the United States. They do the most of whatever's in the product is the first one, and then it goes down the line. Now, we buy milk. We buy a milk called Cow's Head here. It's pure milk, comes from New Zealand. We get a lot of stuff from New Zealand, okay? You know, I like the cows there. They're not corn-fed, they're grass-fed, so they're not sickly, no Ebola, none of that kind of stuff. So, but when we go to SR, we watched beef from New Zealand. They do put red dye on it to make it pretty. I don't like that idea, but it is what it is. You can also find it, New Zealand meat, that doesn't have that. It doesn't have the dye on it, so you just be careful what you buy. My favorite part of the cow is the cow tongue. We just love it. I got a fantastic way of cooking it. I put a little bit of ghee in the bottom of the pan. I put it on real low. I put it in a cast iron skillet. Salt the skin, put a lid on it, and just forget about it. And then hour later or so, I'll flip it over, brown that side too, and then I slice it up into pieces that we can eat. My wife sometimes will take cream of mushroom soup and make that with it, and then also we make sandwiches. It almost comes out like a bologna, so, and it always winds up tender. But getting back to the items that you buy, milk here, even the Nestle brand, a lot of these big-time brands here in the Philippines, pick it up. Read the label. One of the first things you're going to see on there is hydrogenized vegetable oil. Okay, you don't want to put that in your body or your children's body. A lot of the powdered milk here, it's not milk, guys. It's just not. We were in SNR, and one of my favorite juices to drink, I love tomato juice. I always did. I'm a nut for tomato juice. You can't hardly find it here. And then when I got to SNR, my wife says, "Oh, look, tomato juice." And I went over there and I'm like, "Oh, this is so cool." So I picked it up and read the label. Said tomato juice, and then the second ingredient was high fructose corn syrup. I'm like, what the heck are they putting that in there for? I don't want that in there. So needless to say, we didn't buy it. I do not buy anything with high fructose corn syrup in it at all. It's a trigger. I read an article one time that it tricks your brain into telling your brain it's starving, and then your body starts storing fat. When I first used to come here years and years ago, you could go around for a whole year and never see a fat person. Maybe just an older person, like a mayor or a mayor's wife or something like that. Older folks, middle-aged spread type thing, not obesity. You come here now, you can see obese people everywhere. They're all over, and I do blame it on the high fructose corn syrup. I really do. A lot of people eat here and they think they're eating healthy, but they don't read the labels. Another thing we ran into was the fake egg. We got 2 of them one time. The Chinese are making these eggs that are made out of some kind of plastic. I don't know what it was. It was a hard, rubbery thing. Had no flavor to it. It was a fake egg. So that was really weird. Also, we're getting to the point where we go and buy sea salt. We're real careful of the salt we buy, because the salt we get, I like to put salt in my water when I'm cooking noodles. We like a little salty taste. I want to make sure the kids get enough salt here. And a lot of times you'll start boiling the water, and down in the bottom there's glass in there. I kid you not. It's not like a real sharp-edged glass. I don't know what kind of glass it is, but it doesn't melt, and it's not salt. I picked that out of the bottom of the pan. We get the rock salt, super cheap, and put it in my mouth, and you can't bust it with your tooth, and there's no salt taste to it once it was boiled in the water. So what that is, I don't know. Another thing, if you got a pepper mill and you're buying pepper here that doesn't come out of like a McCormick bottle or something like that, if you're buying the loose pepper at the little markets, don't put it in your pepper mill. Most of the pepper mills now are plastic. And hey neighbor, but they're plastic, and there'll be little tiny stones and rocks in there. And when they pick pepper, my wife's uncle sells pepper. He gave us a huge bag one time, about 6 or 7 kilo bag that we used for years. You pick that from like this big tree thing, and there's no stones in it, so they're putting the stones in it to gain weight. But watch how it goes in your pepper mill. My pepper mill, it happened to me, and it just chewed it completely up. It won't even work good now anymore, so I had to get another one. So you have to watch for that. It's just unbelievable, the foods that are not food. It's just really, really crazy. The meats that you buy in some of the markets, we actually went up to a market one day, and the sun was shining on the meat market in the afternoon, and the beef was yellow, and he was discounting. People were buying it up. And even the chickens were hanging there. They were actually kind of cooking from the sun. So you have to be careful. I like to go to the places where they're live, like when we buy our fish and stuff, they're live, and the dude cuts them up for us, so you're getting them a little bit fresh. You have to watch any of these markets where they're selling something. A lot of these vegetables you get, they come out of these rivers, and I'm telling you, these rivers are just not clean. They're just not. So they'll get these vegetables out that have been in that river with all kinds of chemicals and garbage, and the runoff from your septic tanks and storm drains. All the dog poop and everything heading down to these rivers. The waters are not really that clear. They're very dark. And then they grow these things, these little funny looking lettuce things. I forget what my wife calls it. But you got to make sure you wash them things off. Plus, I don't think they're grown good in all the chemicals, with the stuff in these rivers. I've seen a lot of rivers, and they're these ones that are storm draining rivers and stuff like behind this house and the other house. They're pretty filthy. We had the guy over across the road that threw a bunch of stuff down into the river, all the balloons and all that kind. Some of the balloons are still there, but we had a big rain come, washed it all down the thing. And then they burned a bunch of plastic, I guess the old plastic bottles and all this stuff. You can actually take that stuff in for scrap. I don't know why they burn it, but plastic bags and garbage. So, that put a big shower of gook on us. So these are just things. Just remember when you go into the store, read the labels on everything, really. And a lot of stuff here also is just chocked full of MSG. Look at any of the snacks, full of it, just completely full. I do let my kids have some soda pop every now and again, but I watch, revving it up. Okay, so I watch for the pop that says it's got some sugar in it. I don't like them to get a lot of sugar or anything, but every now and again, I let them have a little tiny bit. I actually shouldn't make it a treat, but when I was young, I never got that kind of stuff. I never got a lot of sweets or anything. Once a year, my mother would let you, on your birthday, you could say what you wanted for dinner. And I always said for dessert I wanted apple pie. That was one of the only times you got some huge dessert like that. And it wasn't a super sweet pie. She didn't make super sweet stuff, so I never got used to that. So as I got older, I never liked it. My kids in here, apples, pears, oranges, bananas, watermelon, mangoes. I stuff them full. We spend a couple thousand, sometimes a week, on all this stuff if they want a treat instead of candy and garbage. I do not want to put that in their body. Teach them in the way they grow, and as they grow, they'll follow that. And me, when I was a young construction worker, guys used to laugh at me because they called me carrot sandwich guy, because I would take 2 pieces of celery with a carrot in between. That was one of my sandwiches. I used to bring the big Vidalia onions and eat them like an apple. I always had stuffed broccoli. That was my lunch. I didn't want to eat a heavy lunch. When I first got started in the trades, construction, I brought a big meatloaf sandwich and all that stuff, and I felt logy right after lunch. And one of the old timers said, "Hey man, don't eat like that. It's going to slow you down. You're on probation. You want to be hustling all the time, and that you look like you slowed down a lot. So be careful." And then I started hanging with him. He was an older fella, and I used to see the lunches that he was making, and that's what he was eating: carrots, apples, stuff like that. So I started eating like that, and that's how it stayed my whole career. That's what I ate for lunches and stuff. I never ate a big heavy lunch. And same way with these kids. They want a treat. Hey, we got carrots. Cucumbers. That's what we like them to stuff in their head, and they all go nuts over watermelon, whether it's the yellow one or the pink one. You can get some pretty good prices on that. You can't in the supermarkets. The prices when it comes to food, I don't think they're any different from the States. And a lot of other things too. When you go to some of these markets, depending on where it's it's like drugs. Okay, they get stepped on. One person brings it up from the province, and then he sells it to somebody. Then that guy takes it. He takes his cut. It might go through 7 or 8 hands. That's why it's so expensive. And then the grocery stores are real expensive on fruits and vegetables, like potatoes. My goodness, you pay for 3 small potatoes. It'll be $3-4 if you go into the market, the grocery store. I mean, so we head down to the market. And we can get big piles of them. They got these things we eat that are like turnips. They look like a turnip. They're real good. We eat them. They're sweeter than a turnip though, and we eat the heck out of them. So that's just one thing. But pay attention to that. And then, like I said in the beginning, that just popped up in my mind while I was talking. If you want to come here, make sure if you need to, visit the dentist. You don't need any insurance or anything because it's cheap. My wife's tooth got chipped, busted like almost in half or something, and she got her tooth, a really nice one made, put in like permanent instead of a little clip-on thing like she had before that we got years ago, and now she's got a permanent one in there, and it looks great. She fell or something and chipped the heck out of that tooth, so it looks really good. I actually had I had to have a tooth pulled. It was one when I never had trouble with my teeth. Then when I was in the Navy, they practiced on me and just drilled me all up. Well, the one tooth in the back here, it just split. I was chewing on something, not even anything real tough, and it split. So I had to go in and have the dude pull it out. It cost me $10 to get the tooth pulled, and that was total care. That was even him handing me he said on this one it was a little bit infected, and he said, "Oh, you better take some antibiotics on this one." And it was sore. It was a little bit sore. So I did take the antibiotics on that one for 7 days, but they handed me the little bag of that stuff. So for $10, what kind of dentist is going to charge you $10 to do that in the States, guys? So, but these are just some more of my thoughts today. I hope I didn't ramble too much, but this is absolutely fantastic. We're not going to go anywhere today. We were visiting last night till late. We're going to have a nice breakfast, and we all got up late because we were out late last night. So kids and I are going to take a nice walk today, and probably not go anywhere. We went out yesterday and picked up some mattresses. I know we're moving, but I figured if we get them now, that'll be something nice we could put in between the stuff in the truck, so it don't get bounced around too much. I don't want anything getting busted because there's no tie down to the wall of the truck for the fridge and that sort of stuff. So I figured if I get the mattresses now, we got a king size, a 78 by 80. I forget the size on that, and then we got one that's bigger than a queen. They have a different size in between queen and king. There's family size, they call it, but they sell the sheets and stuff for it. So we got that, and they're the really good. I think it's Celotex foam or something like that, but it's wrapped like a regular spring mattress instead of these covers that they put on. I don't like those. So we got that yesterday, carried it on the roof of the car. We saw, good morning. We saw minor fender bender, and then it was, a big truck smashed into another truck, and I don't know why they just didn't clear it off. It was obviously the big truck's fault. The big truck wasn't really hurt at all, but where it was on the road, it just made a big traffic. And I was fine with that because I had that mattress on and we were driving with our flashers anyway. It was just tied on with that plastic rope they got here. But once we got through it, there was more traffic. And Tropical Tim, you would have seen it as sacrilege. You would have just bummed because two San Miguel light trucks, the smaller ones, collided. I guess when they were coming up to the funnel, because this road comes down a big hill and then it funnels into one. And it looked like they were from the same company. The trucks were painted exactly the same. Well, they smashed into each other and it kind of tied them up. And they flipped. Here's our tutor. Yeah, hey, say hi, YouTube. That's her sweetheart. He's an OFW. He's got to go back to where he's working overseas in Arabia on the 22nd. So she's a little sad. He's going to be going soon. But yeah, the truck smashed, and they got kind of locked together. They were trying to cut them apart with a torch, and the one was tipped way over, and San Mig beer, Pale Pilsen, was all over the place. Busted bottles everywhere. So Tim, you'd have been crying. You'd have been crying a river of San Mig Pale Pilsen. So that's pretty much it. You guys take care today, and that's just my little bit I have for today. If you guys got anything that you can think of that you want me to talk about and address, let me know. I'll do my best. I don't address stuff about, one guy asked about STDs. I wouldn't know about that. Another guy asked about, the women here. I don't do that kind of stuff. I'm a family guy. I focus on my beautiful little children. I focus on my little tiny wife. I don't go looking for women. I got one. I definitely don't need to. And all the problems associated with that kind of stuff. I've known when I was a young man, I knew people that ran around, and from a very early age, even when I was a teenager and stuff, all I saw is that it caused trouble. So I never got into that. I don't want bunches of different women. I just don't. So I got a nice little sweetheart here. Love her to death, and so I can't answer those kind of questions. But as I think of things, it pops in my head, and then I should start writing stuff down, because sometimes I get done with a video and I say, oh, I forgot to talk about that. It was like when I was making a video before, I forgot to talk about the dental work and stuff like that. So maybe I'll start jotting notes down, and so I can get it. But I'm liking all the comments I'm getting, guys. I did talk about the law about taking a kid somewhere, and a guy popped in on the comments, and he said, yeah, if you're got a Filipino girlfriend and she has a kid and you take that kid somewhere, same thing. Even if you're like live-in, so you got to be careful of the kids like that. So don't want to make it too long, so I'm gonna let you go. Don't forget to pray for each other, and God bless you all. Rick Shaw out.